Al Muhammad is defending his belt for the very first time. Valentina Shevchenko is defending hers for the eighth time, but the first time since winning it back. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks. I'm going to give you my bets for UFC 315. But before we jump forward, let's take a look back. Let's look back at the last 5 events. Over the last 5 events, I have put up what we call a safety parlay. This is one single parlay. We put my stamp of safety approval on it, and it hits at a remarkable accuracy. Over the last 5 events, we've hit 4. The one that we missed was a fluke that I blamed the referee for. But the safety parlay hits at an incredible rate. The ROI is outstanding at 53%. And if you want to unlock the safety parlay for this event, UFC 315, the only thing you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com and click Become a Member. It's $10 for an entire month. And that entire month will get you far more than just the safety parlay and far more than just UFC 315. You'll get UFC 315 this weekend. You'll get the 2 fight nights, and then you'll get UFC 316. This is the unicorn of calendar events. We have 4 events, 2 pay-per-views, and 2 very solid fight nights to round out an entire month. And again, that month is $10. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. You will instantly unlock every single pick, every single bet, every single tool. The latest and greatest tool is the tape index. A lot of you like to do your own research. And if you like to do your own research and you like to do your own tape study, unlock the tape index. In the tools menu, click on tape index, and you'll be brought to a bunch of different events. You select your event, you select your fighter, you'll get their full fight history. And any fight that has a little red play button next to it will bring up the video and you can watch that fight and do your tape study. We also have a tool called the Line Movement Tracker. This will give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. We have a tool called the Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. There's a whole bunch of tools, there's a whole bunch of copy-paste bets, and there's a whole bunch of analysts. It's not just me. You have me, BetSam, Artem, and an artificial intelligence all giving you picks and bets to help you make some money heading into the weekend. Unlock all of it right now. It's freaking $10, the greatest value in this space. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And everything we offer, including those picks, those bets, and those breakdowns, are available inside of the app. The app is 100% free. Just search We Want Picks in the App Store and turn on push notifications, which is wildly important because as we are placing bets, as we are beating the line movement, you are getting notifications to your phone. This week specifically, BetSam placed a couple of bets on Jeong Lee at wild plus money odds. He is now officially the favorite. Download the app, become a premium member, do all the things. WeWantPicks.com. Let's go ahead and dive in. First, we'll talk about some confident favorites, some solid underdogs, and then I'll give you my actual bets. You're saying, Angelo, what happened to your house? Where I'm at? I'm busy this week. I am not home, but that's not going to stop me from breaking this down. I even went out and got a specific web camera for this. This isn't my laptop camera. I have a specific camera plugged in to do this. The audio is a couple of AirPods, so while my voice might not be as sultry and sexually as it normally is, you're still getting it, and we're still getting these picks and bets. And I'm going to give it to you a little earlier than we normally do because I have to delay the live stream. Travel and Ange still putting up the bets and the videos. If we're looking at confident favorites, there's actually a lot on this card that I'm confident. So not everybody made the list. And you're going to see Benoit Saint-Denis is not on this list. That dude's a minus 1,200 favorite right now. They gave him some short notice UFC debut slapdick. I'm not going to give you a minus 1,200 as a confident favorite. We're going to talk about some actual affordable fighters. Navajo Sterling is one of them. He's a guy that I've come around on. As we're getting closer and closer to the event, I'm getting a little more confident. The reality is he a top-level UFC guy? No. Is he the person that everybody says he's going to be? Probably not. But what he is a very good kickboxer, a very good striker, in a mostly striking matchup. He's also fighting a striker. It's not as if he's fighting somebody who's going to have relentless takedowns, going to be grinding. He is fighting another striker. I imagine that Navajo Sterling is going to be able to defend takedowns if they come his way, and then just be the better striker in a mostly striking matchup. We have Jasmine Jasudavicius, minus 272. While those are pretty wide odds considering she is fighting a former world champion, it's a pretty straightforward matchup. Jasmine is big, strong, and can wrestle. She grinds forward, gets takedowns, and works on top. Her opponent, Jessica Andrade, is tough as hell, is a bully, but isn't very good. She doesn't have clean technique. She doesn't have the best takedown defense. She's just a dog. So as long as Jasmine can come forward and get the takedowns, we don't have to worry about Jessica. Jessica's going to try to weight bully, even though she's not that big. She's going to try to weight bully, going to try to be strong, and just try to bully, push around, be physical. I think Jasmine's going to get the takedowns, hang out on top, and just frustrate Jessica Andrade. And then we have Natalia Silva. Natalia Silva is the opposite of Jessica Andrade. And we saw that when they fought each other. Natalia Silva, clean, technical, fast, loose. Natalia Silva stays on the outside. She more than doubled Jessica Andrade's strikes in their last fight. And I think she does something similar here. Obviously, this opponent is not Jessica Andrade. She's fighting Alexa Grasso. Alexa Grasso is a very good striker. I saw a whole bunch of comments saying, we've never seen Alexa Grasso lose a striking match. Well, good news is Natalia Silva can also wrestle if she needs to. When she fought Jasmine Jasudavicius, she not only defended takedowns but got her own. Natalia Silva is young, fast, clean. She's got great footwork. She's very well rounded, and I think she wins this fight. I think she wins this fight by being young, fast, and clean. We cannot forget that, yes, Alexa Grasso is the former world champion at this weight class. She also went up in weight. So she's not the biggest. She doesn't use that side. She just uses her physicality as a speed, a weapon for movement. And I think Natalia Silva is just as fast, but also bigger and has clean striking. And then Bilal Muhammad. Jacob and I could not be farther apart on this pick. If you go to the website, you'll see his picks, you'll see his bets. Jacob and I literally could not be farther apart. I think Bilal Muhammad gets this done. I think he comes forward, does what he does. Boxes a little bit, shoots a takedown. Box a little bit, shoots a takedown. Now, there is some concern there that he might strike a little longer than he should because Jack Del Maddalena is quite literally the best striker that Bilal Muhammad has fought. I think he's a better striker than Leon Edwards is because he's not gun shy and Leon Edwards is. Bilal Muhammad had success striking with Leon. Leon was backing up, just covering. So hopefully Bilal doesn't come into this thinking he'll do more of the same. What Bilal needs to do, get his hands going, shoot a couple takedowns. We watched Gilbert Burns take down Jack Del Maddalena 7 times. 7 times. Yeah, he was knocked out in the third round, but Gilbert Burns is old. Gilbert Burns is small. Bilal Muhammad is big. He's strong. He got cardio. I think he gets it done just good old-fashioned lay and pray, wet blanket, grinding. If you look at some underdogs, there's a few on here that I'm pretty confident. Brad Katana is one of them. He's plus 140. I understand he's fighting a guy that has great hands and can wrestle and do all the things. But we're going to continue to fall into this trap. His opponent, Alkaman, dropped Umar Nurmagomedov within the first 30 seconds of their fight. The guy walked into the UFC, short notice, massive underdog, drops Umar Nurmagomedov, and then lost the rest of the fight. He landed 4 total strikes in that fight. 4. But for some reason, the narrative this week is that guy's a phenomenal striker. Look what he did. And we need to get out of this rhythm of betting on losing fighters. Jordan Vucenic won his UFC debut against Garam Cutelaba in his UFC debut. Came out, had a very winnable fight, shit the bed. Last week, similar story. Weeks before that, similar story. We continue to get UFC debuts that have phenomenal debuts on short notice. They lose, and then we tell ourselves, oh, with a full camp, they're going to look really good. And then they don't. Obviously, that's a broad brushstroke, and I categorized everybody the same, but the reality is we need to start picking and betting fighters based off of what they have actually done in the octagon, not necessarily outside of the octagon, not necessarily in losses, just because they look good. And that's what we're doing here. Brad Katana is a very good fighter. Brad Katana is fast. Brad Katana is clean. Brad Katana moves forward. Brad Katana is everywhere he needs to be inside the fight, and he's got a ton of cardio. He may not be the better overall fighter here, but he's certainly more well-rounded, meaning I think Beksek might have cleaner, faster striking, and he's got some wrestling, but tying it all together is a different story. I think Brad Katana ties it all together very well. He's got great forward pressure, he's got great cardio, and he's got some dog in him. And he's fighting in a hometown crowd. Maybe we need a gift decision, and maybe we get it, but I think he's a good dog at plus 140. Charlie Radke, plus 167. I picked against him. I picked Mike Malott. You'll see I even have a bet with Mike Malott. But Charlie Radke is a dog. I don't think he's the better fighter here. But he is tough as shit. And the one time we saw Mike Malott in a little bit of trouble, he quit. So the theory here is if you think Mike Malott ends up in some trouble, then you need to be on the Charlie Radke side because he might quit again. Once you quit that one time, it's very hard for me to not assume you'll quit again. I think Mike Malott's going to be the better fighter overall. But again, if Charlie, who's pretty durable, makes this a dogfight, ends up on top, starts grinding, all of a sudden, it's a very different fight and it gets dicey, and those are pretty solid odds. Daniel Santos, he's stepping up on short notice. He's fighting Jeong Lee. He was supposed to fight about a month ago. He got sick. The fight didn't happen, so here he is. Short notice, a month later on a pay-per-view. I think Daniel Santos is a very good fighter, a very aggressive fighter, and I think Daniel Santos can absolutely win this fight. He's a shooter box guy. So if he gets his hands going, if he stays busy, he can knock out Jeong Lee, who was just knocked out. If they end up on the ground, he's got opportunistic submissions. The only real issue I could see for Daniel Santos is he's not known for his cardio when this is short notice. And if he gets taken down, all these shooter box guys tend to just play guard off their back. And you might catch somebody in a scramble, but after that initial scramble, they just end up on their back playing that guard game. Not the best game plan, but I think Daniel Santos could potentially win this. He was a favorite. He was a favorite for about 5, 6 days. And now he's a full blown underdog. So keep an eye on that line movement. You might get him at even better value if that's the side that you're on. And then Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina Shevchenko is the longest reigning champion that division has ever seen, the best fighter that division has ever seen, one of the best fighters the UFC has ever seen. And she's fighting first-time title challenger Manon Fiorot, and Manon's the favorite here. I do think Manon wins because I think she's a little bigger. I think she hits a little harder, and I think she's the better kickboxer. As long as Manon defends the takedown, she's good. Because Valentina Shevchenko, even though she's older, she is evolving with this sport. She's adding new tools. She's wrestling more than ever. She has 16 takedowns in her last 3 fights or something insane like that. Valentina Shevchenko may come forward looking to grapple. I just don't know if she's going to have that same level of success that she had against Alexa Grasso, who is much smaller and has much worse takedown defense than Manon Fiorot. But of course, long reigning champion, one of the best to do it. You have to have her as a solid underdog. Let's take a look at my actual bets. I already have 5 bets on the board. It is Tuesday. I don't normally have this many bets on the board. There will be more bets coming. I just continue to get more and more confident in different fighters and different spots as this week is going on. Jasmine Advicious and Mike Malott is a parlay I threw at the board. That is plus money. The two of them have fought on the same card 3 times, and that has hit twice. I think Jasmine wins. I think Mike wins. They're both fighting in Canada. They both have matchups that on paper should be favorable. My concern here isn't the Jasmine side. My concern is definitely the Mike Malott side for all the reasons I mentioned before. If Charlie Racky makes this a dogfight, ends up on top in a weird scramble, starts raining at Mike Malott, God knows what he might do like he did against Neil Magny. But Mike should be faster. He should be the better athlete. And I think Mike Malott wins that fight. So therefore, I did a plus money parlay. I also parlayed Navajo Sterling and Natalia Silva. Listen, Navajo Sterling, I mentioned a better striker in what should be a mostly striking matchup. And then Natalia Silva should be better, faster, cleaner than Alexa Grasso. Definitely a tough fight. It's not a nothing fight. But Natalia Silva has more tools in her bag. She's bigger, she's faster, and I think she is cleaner. Then we have Marc-Andre Barreau and Jose Aldo. I threw a half a unit at that bet. This is two fighters that I've gotten more confident as the week goes on. At first, I was like, Jose Aldo's a little old. Eamon Zahabi just continues to win these weirdo fights that he shouldn't win on paper. And then I look at it a little more. And it's like, the reality is Eamon Zahabi doesn't have that many good wins. Even the win that he had a few fights ago against Bajarat, that wasn't really a great win. He was spamming overhands. His corner won him by going, ooh, ooh, with every right hand that missed. So he got a decision that I don't think he should have gotten. Outside of that, he doesn't have a notable name on that resume. He is a well-trained guy. He's been around forever. His brother runs one of the most successful gyms Canada has ever seen, but Jose Aldo is still Jose Aldo. And even in his last fight where he did not win the decision, he should have. He had a great showing against a guy with plenty of cardio that comes forward. So I think Jose Aldo, as long as he doesn't get stuck against the cage, which he shouldn't because that's not how Eamon fights, should win this fight. And then Marc-Andre Barreau, he is coming off a couple knockout losses in a row, which is why this bet is only a half a unit. But the reality is, Marc-Andre Barreau is losing to people who are better than him. He's not the best in the world, and he's losing to people who are better than him. Bruno Silva, his opponent, is just losing. He doesn't seem to care anymore. He doesn't seem to have the fire anymore. He doesn't seem to have that spark anymore. And he just isn't putting it together, and he seemingly doesn't give a shit. And sometimes the bet is more about fading one side than it is praising the other. And in this case, Marc-Andre's decent enough. He cares enough. He'll move forward enough to beat the fade, which is Bruno Silva. Charlie Racky inside the distance decision, no action. All the reasons I already talked about Charlie, except this gets me a refund on the bet. If Mike Malott wins, he's not finishing Charlie Racky. If Mike Malott wins, he's taking him down, he's grinding him out, he's staying on the outside with the striking and avoiding any trouble. And if that's the case, I get a full refund on this bet. If Charlie Racky finishes, if he beats and finishes Mike Malott, then I will get paid at plus 250 odds. If Charlie Radke loses a decision, even wins a decision, I get a full refund there. Then I did a parlay for the round line overs, and you'll notice no real ladies in there. I went with the Katana Alcaman fight, the over 2.5 rounds, and then Aldo Zahabi over 2.5 rounds. I think both of those fights go to the distance. I think there's some good back and forth, some decent exchanges, mostly striking, but there's not a ton of danger or power in those matchups. Jose Aldo isn't who he used to be, but he's still very good. He's very fast and very clean. Amos Zahabi is pretty tough. That should go to a decision. Brad Katana, Alcaman, neither one of them have insane power. They're both pretty durable. They're both pretty tough. That also should go to a decision. I have another premium parlay. It's two different money lines at plus 128. And then, of course, the safety parlay, which we talked about. Safety parlay has hit 4 of the last 5 times. All of these bets, 50 other bets that you don't see on this screen, available right now on the website. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 for an entire freaking month worth of access. And if you sign up right now, you'll get UFC 316 as well. Here's a couple more free bets. You'll also see on the bottom 30 plus units of bets on the board right now. 30 units of bets on the board right now. And some of them do conflict with each other. We are different human beings with different bets. You see a Jack Della Maddalena bet here, and I have the Bilal Muhammad bet. So I can understand. I can understand why you may look at that and be like, ooh, what do I do here? Well, we have a full suite of picks, so you can see who's picking who, who's betting on who. You can use the tiebreaker with the artificial intelligence. You can use the tools. And the reality is, there's a bunch of different bets that make sense for your style. If you're clean and easy like I am, typically round lines and money lines, we have plenty of those. If you want to chase, you want to find some value, we have a whole bunch of giant plus money prop bets and the long shot parlay that Bet Sam and Jacob put together, usually plus 1,000 odds, chasing some long shots, very little money though. Couple of other premium bets here on the board. As I mentioned, there's 30 total units of bets. Here's a couple of free ones. Jeong Lee, that's Sam. Sam all day long, all over Jeong Lee. You got him at plus 155. That line has moved. He's now minus 110, but the logic still applies. If you're on that side and you feel that he's bigger, you feel that he's the guy with the full camp, and you feel that he dominates this fight, which I do think he wins. I don't know about dominates, but if you're on that side, there is still value in that before the line continues to widen. And then there's a Charlie Radke full-blown inside the distance. I showed you inside the distance decision, no action, which means I get a refund if Charlie ends up in a decision. Those odds are plus 250. This is full-blown for him to win inside the distance. It's plus 385. So much better odds, a much higher payout, but obviously a little more risk. Bunch of other bets on the board, including a two or three fighter premium plus money, plus 188 parlay. Unlock every single bet. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. If you hate it, cancel. If you don't, keep moving. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And finally, if you go back to the first slide showed, here's the Bet Online odds. Here's the Bet Openly odds. And you'll see a stark contrast between those two. And that's because Bet Openly is not a sports book. And because they're not a sports book, they don't care who wins or loses. They don't need to beat you. All they do is facilitate bets between different human beings all over the world. And because they don't care if you win or I win, they just care we're using the platform, they're able to take the savings. They don't need to build in profit, and they can pass that on to you through the lines. They take 1%. If you win a $100 bet, you will get 99. They keep one single dollar to keep the lights on and to run everything. The rest is up to you. Check them out at WeWantPicks.com/betopenly or BetOpenly.com. And finally, if you want 50, we will send you 50. While BetOpenly is not a sportsbook, we do have sportsbook affiliates. And if you sign up with any one of those affiliates at WeWantPicks.com/bets, you use the link, you make a deposit, you make the account, we send you $50 as a thank you. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay me, and then I will slice off some of that money and give it right back to you. UFC 315 might not be the greatest card we've ever seen, but it's a very good card with a couple of intriguing plot lines, and it's coupled with UFC 316 in less than 1 month's time. Unlock all the picks, all the bets, all the tools, everything right now at WeWantPicks.com. Good luck this weekend. I'm really feeling good about this card.